I'm going to reenact a scene from one of my favorite movies, and it's called The Mirror Has Two Faces. It stars Barbara Streisand and Jeff Bridges. And Barbara Streisand plays a professor for Columbia University in New York, and she's giving a lecture on love in a way that I've never heard love described before, and I would hope that you all enjoy it as much as I do. It gives a different perspective than we usually think of, so I'm pretty excited about it. So, here's the scene at my sister's wedding. She's getting drunk, regretting she ever got married. For the third time, mind you. My mother's so jealous she's sprouting snakes from her hair, and I'm thinking, this is perfect. We have three feminine archetypes here. The divine horror, Medusa, and me. Who am I? What archetype? The faithful handmaiden, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It does prove, however, that myths and archetypes are alive and well. I'm living in my apartment. As I stood at the altar next to my sister and her husband-to-be, it struck me that this ritual called the wedding ceremony is nothing but the ending of a fairy tale. They don't tell you what happens after. They don't tell you that Cinderella drove the prince crazy with her obsessive need to clean the castle, but she missed her day job, right? No, they don't tell us what happens after, because there is no after. The end-all and the be-all of romantic love was marriage. But it hasn't always been that way. Around the 12th century, there was a notion known as courtly love, where love had nothing to do with marriage and nothing to do with sex. It was often described as a relationship, a passionate relationship, between a knight and a woman of the court who is already married, so that they could never consummate their love. In this way, they would have to rise above your ordinary, going to the bathroom in front of each other kind of love, and they would go after something more divine. They took sex out of the equation, and what was left was a union of souls. Now get this. Love was always the fatal love potion. Look at the literature of the time. Lancelot and Guinevere, Tristan and Isolde. All that consummation could lead to was madness, despair, or death. Clinical experts, scholars, and my Aunt Esther are all united in the belief that love has spiritual dimensions, while romantic love is nothing but a lie, an illusion, a myth, a soulless manipulation. Now the question is, why do we buy it? We buy it because whether it's a myth or manipulation, we all want to fall in love, right? Why? Because that experience makes us feel completely alive, where every sense is heightened, every emotion is magnified, our reality is shattered, and we are flung into the heavens. It may only last a moment, an hour, an afternoon, but that doesn't diminish its value, because we're left with memories that we treasure for the rest of our lives. I read an article a while ago that said when we fall in love, we hear Puccini in our heads. I love that. I think it's because his music fully expresses our longing for romantic love and passion in our lives. And while we're listening to La Boheme or Turandot, or reading Wuthering Heights or watching Casablanca, a little bit of that love lives in us too. So the final question, why do people want to fall in love when it can have such a short shelf life and be devastatingly painful? Well, I think, as some of you may already know, while it does last, it feels fucking great. That's why.